Welcome to Axiom Health's first detox talk. I am not a doctor, I am not a naturopath. I am a person who's been through a lot of naturopaths in my life. And I'm a survivor of Lyme disease. And I had 2 years of all kinds of alternative treatments to heal that, and I am healed today. So in the process of all of that work during my 25 years of being with naturopaths, I've retained all the information, and I've come to understand that detoxing is extremely important for our health. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the human body is a pretty magical thing. It's like a forest with a multi-layered living system. You know how a forest has the trees, the roots and the leaves and the humus and the mushrooms and the worms and the insects and then the wind and the sky. So that's an existing, beautiful, functional ecosystem, and our body is very similar. So the way the body goes together with the lymph system, the venous system, the blood systems, the kidney systems, the liver systems, heart, all of that functions in its optimal balance together beautifully to detox the body effectively. And the way that we live today tends to put a lot of strain on our bodies, mainly because of the environmental toxins around us, but also the stresses that we live under. And it's important that we, when we can, detox our bodies regularly, especially as we get older and things start to change. So I've been a vegan. I've been a macrobiotic person. I've done raw milk parasite cleanses. I've done an anti-candida diet. I've done the 28-day medical medium cleanse. I've done 3 years of celery juice in the morning. I've dropped meat, dairy, and gluten and picked them all back up again because life needs to be lived. I've healed myself from Lyme disease with 12 months of herbal tinctures, infrared sauna therapy, coffee enemas, and probably 30 IV ozone sessions. At one point, I created my own essential oil antibiotics when I couldn't see a doctor and I was really ill. I've done gallbladder cleanses, etc. So I'm 58 these days, and I've learned, especially post-menopause, that it's important to detox my body yearly. And why do we do that? We detox because it allows our bodies to lower the burden on the healing mechanism. So we want to activate our natural healing ability, but when our body's overtaxed by having to rid itself of poisons, then we can't do that. So detoxification is a set of interventions aimed at clearing toxins from the body. And what is a toxin? It's a pollutant, it's a synthetic chemical, it's a heavy metal, it's a processed food, and all of these negatively affect our health. So what we seek to do when we detoxify the body is we want to minimize the physical harm caused by those substances. Because these substances poison our bodies, they contribute to chronic disease. And most people today have some element, unfortunately, of chronic disease, or most of us city dwellers do. So ideally, we do a full body detox as part of our regular regimen. That way, the body naturally eliminates the harmful substances through the kidneys, the liver, the digestive system, the skin, and the lungs. So when our body's working in concert, those waste delivery systems work really well. But most people today, over 25, some of those symptoms are compromised. So the liver is the largest internal organ, and it's responsible for up to 500 different functions. That includes detoxification, as well as digestion and regulating the metabolism. So keeping the liver clean and functioning optimally is the key to total body health and vitality. And you'll find if you do a liver cleanse that your skin will glow. And the really healthy that are always glowing tend to have really good livers. So what gets in the way? So the liver basically collects the toxins that our body absorbs. So it collects heavy metals, it collects the chemicals, it collects plastic. Any drugs we've taken, recreational, medical, they tend to leave a residue and it ends up in the liver. So you might have seen on social media a couple of weeks ago, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talked about his platform in terms of health. And there was a statistic he said that really surprised me, which is that when he was a child in the 50s, the statistics were that 6% of Americans had chronic diseases. And $0 were spent by the government on healing those people. Today, the statistic is 60% of Americans are on the record of having chronic disease, and the government spends trillions of dollars a year in supporting them. So there's an epidemic of ill health in this country. So rather than what most doctors do today, they give a pharmaceutical for a symptom. Our philosophy is detox the body as much as you can first and see if its natural healing ability will come online before you do medical interventions. Because if you're loading your body up with pharmaceuticals, some of that residue ends up in your liver. And when the liver struggles, you age, and the other systems in the body don't work properly. So the immune system doesn't work properly, for example. So I want to quote something that Anthony Williams said. So Anthony Williams is well known in the alternative field as a detox expert. He was the guy that catalyzed the celery juice craze that lots of people have done now, including the multiple celebrities. And I know from my own experience, it was extremely healing. How it works, I'm not exactly sure, but he says it's to do with the electrolyte balance in the body. Certain kinds of salts and minerals nourish the waste organs really powerfully in a way that no other substance can. So Anthony Williams says this about cleansing. If you think you don't have any need to do a cleanse, if you're sure you couldn't possibly be harboring any toxins in your body, think again. In today's world, there are poisons and pathogens that threaten our health, starting before we've even been born, and they continue to hold us back as we encounter them in our everyday life. Cleansing is a vital tool for fighting against these burdens as long as you go about it the right way. And then he says, have compassion for yourself and know that your suffering is not your fault. You're accomplishing great things every single hour and day as you work on your healing process. With detoxing, then nourishing our body systems, you can reverse a lot of these issues. We can heal ourselves, believe it. So that's very encouraging, his words. So to Anthony Williams' point, his major cleanse is a 28-day cleanse. Have you heard about that?
Is it the master cleanse?
No, Anthony Williams' cleanse is about just eating raw fruit and vegetables for 28 days.
Oh, wow.
So you completely drop fat from your diet, you dropped cooked food, you dropped all grain and all meat and all dairy. And I've
Eat what exists naturally on the planet?
Yes, exactly.
It's here for us to eat.
Yeah. So I've done it once and it was extremely difficult.
I can imagine so.
I think I lost about 7 pounds and my intention was to keep doing it, but I'm a kind of a normal human and I have food addictions, like I love gluten. I emotionally eat when I'm lonely or sad. Cheese puffs are my favorite go-to. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm I'm a badly disciplined eater. Yeah. So I fall off the detoxes halfway through. So the Candida diet I couldn't handle emotionally because that's a no everything diet. And the emotional aspect of the Candida diet was so hard that I would just caved and I'd drive out and get ice cream. So when the terrain cleanse came along, I thought that was pretty interesting. But we'll talk about that in a second. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. So the terrain came into my field of vision, and what appealed to me about it was that it's so easy. All you have to do is hand over your fingernails or your toenails, and the frequencies do the rest. So the official suggestion with the terrain cleanse is take a binder, and a binder is charcoal or clay, and the binder binds the toxins as they get mobilized in your system. So that's all I had to do, was give my fingernails and eat charcoal. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So the first time I did it at full power, and after 3 days I couldn't handle it and I had to stop because I was so tired I couldn't really function. So the one that we're going to do this time is 50%. So the 50% one is one that I've done twice, Dr. Rudy's done once, and Teresina's done once, and a group of other people have all done it at 50%, and we all survived it fine. So the first few days, if you have heavy metals in your system, they get mobilized, and that's the substance that's the strongest in the body, and you can feel very heavy. If you don't have heavy metals in your system, you won't feel anything. But they're the ones that we really want to get out of the system because they're serious. So for example, if you have Candida or if you have EBV, which is Epstein-Barr virus, you can't get it out of your body if the metals are still in your body, according to Anthony William. So they bind together and hide. So we've got to get the metals out before we can even treat the viruses or any other things. So even though you might feel a little heavy for the first few days, it is worth it. And you'll be okay at your show. You could. Yeah, you could. You could, absolutely. So at the moment, I think I feel the healthiest I've been in about 20 years. And I've done 3 terrain detoxes now in 18 months and multiple Rife sessions with the GenX Pro. And so just gradually over time, but the terrain itself is a very powerful detox. And I waited 6 months in between each of them, and about halfway through the second one, I actually started feeling ecstatic.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I don't think I felt ecstatic since before menopause.
So you do fall in the spring?
Yeah, that was my choice.
Yeah.
But many of the Rife users do them at any time.
Sure.
Doesn't matter. But let's talk about the lingering issues that I had that the terrain started to address, which is hormonal balance due to menopause and being an emotional type of person. When I had Lyme disease, the sort of after effect of Lyme in my case was hypothyroidism. So I'm still working on low thyroid. At the moment I take thyroid medication, but maybe over time I can bring that down. I don't have Epstein-Barr anymore, and I don't really have Candida anymore. So I've dealt with all of those. So, but let's backtrack a little bit. What is a Rife machine? What does frequency medicine do? So the easiest way to understand Rife and Spooky 2 is to see it as a futuristic multi-function gun that can shoot different types of bullets. It uses killing bullets and it uses soothing frequencies, both using the Rife frequency generators. Frequencies are unique because they're made from invisible electromagnetic energy, and depending on the waveform that is used to shape how the bullet behaves, it can deliver multiple strikes to the targets in your body. When you know a germ's frequency and you use a Spooky 2 generator to transmit the frequency into your body, it will cause that germ to vibrate. Through vibration, pathogens and parasites are shattered into pieces, so they actually explode. So But also for relieving pain and general health support, the process is completely different and works on the principle of frequency entrainment. That way, by transmitting the frequencies of a healthy organ or a robust immune system to yourself, frequency entrainment will take place within a few days and your body will start feeling much better. Sounds magical, but I feel it's the new frontier of medicine, really. It's starting to get used all around the place. Okay, so according to the Spooky Two people, the benefits of the Terrain Protocol is that it's a carefully stepped detoxification process. You take in toxins from food, drink, or air every day, and your body naturally expels them. However, your body cannot discard the toxins fast enough due to too much pollution in the environment. That's the big problem. As a result, the toxins will accumulate in your body and damage your cells, leading to all kinds of physical discomfort and psychological conditions too. The Terrain Protocol will remove heavy metals, chemicals, systemic toxins, bacteria, and parasites from the body and improve the liver, kidney, and lymphatic functions. After the protocol, your body will be rid of toxins and start to recover on its own. Also, Rife frequencies will be more effective because toxins that could block and absorb the Rife frequencies are gone. So you get all the energy back for each of your cells. This is why Spooky 2 suggests the Terrain Protocol before major Rife treatment. So this is the easiest detox I've ever done. The frequencies do a lot of the work. They mobilize the toxins in our bodies and move them into the excretory organs. So our job on the detox is to help our detox pathways move the toxins out. To do this, you must drink plenty of water, 2 liters a day approximately, and take a binder like charcoal, bentonite clay, or zeolite. The binder is not optional, it's essential. As the toxins like heavy metals are released from the organs, they start to circulate in the blood. This is where we need to catch them with the binder, something that holds onto them, and then that binder holding the substance moves it into the waste removal system, i.e. the kidneys and liver and lymph system, where the body passes them out as sweat, urine, and bowel movements. So
could that affect your sweat, like your smell? Could it possibly?
You should smell better because the charcoal will be absorbing a lot of the gunk.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to take your binder at least 2 hours, possibly up to 4 hours after any medication or an important supplement. Also, take your charcoal before you're going to sweat. So if you're going for a hike or you're going to work out, take it then, because the function of the sweat will be moving this stuff out of your body. Okay, and the heavy metal detox smoothie is something I suggest to do, and that is a smoothie that Anthony William developed. It's in the literature, but it includes bananas, blueberries, an orange or orange juice, cilantro, barley grass powder, seaweed called dulse, and spirulina. And that mix of substances starts to draw the heavy metals through the intestinal walls into itself. And because there's a lot of fruit pectin created by that fruit, that absorbs the heavy metals too. And so both those things help you pass it out through the digestive system. Amazing.
And the fruit's gonna help you poop anyway, right?
Yeah, amazing. Like, it's amazingly scientific, and it tastes pretty good. I do add a date to mine because I buy organic cilantro and it's really strong. So a little sweetness is really helpful. And the other thing I like to do, if you can, during the detox, is if you can get somewhere into a sauna or a steam room or a steam bath, that'd be great. So just remember to take your water. Okay, and I'm going to finish by listing some of the general benefits of a detox. So really any detox you do will do this, but we're doing the lazy person's detox, really.
I'm lazy.
Yeah, exactly. So there's 12 things that happen when you detox. You lose weight because toxins can be harmful to the cells and tissues of the body. But as we mobilize the toxins in the body and move them out. The parts of our body that have been holding on to them, which are often the fat cells, release and get used up. Exactly. You should have increased energy. Detoxes help your immune system, digestion, and energy levels, especially when you support your body with organic whole foods. One other benefit is joint pain relief. So for people that have arthritis, usually the inflammation in the body goes down when you remove the toxins. Your digestion could improve, your immunity will be boosted, your cravings should go down a lot, because some of the toxic nature of the body, we get in a sort of addiction cycle, and it's very hard to break, for me anyway. Your mood should stabilize because the blood sugars tend to even out. The skin clears up because of all the water that you're drinking. Your sleep should improve because sometimes our sleep is disturbed by having a toxic body. And your mind should become sharper. You improve your longevity and you improve your self-confidence. So that is the basic of why we detox and why we do terrain.
Great.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about lymph stuff at all?
I mean, I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. I just don't want you recording it.
That's all right. So I'm just going to say a couple of things about the lymph system, because I'm that person that gets congested lymph, and I've had a bit of experience with it. So in my situation, I love cheese puffs. And whenever I eat cheese puffs, I know my lymph system starts to like get a little funky.
There's nothing real in that.
Right. Yeah,
And I say
exactly.
that with zero judgment.
Yeah.
Please know that.
No, I know. So I had a struggle with candida many years ago, and it was partly from having food cravings, eating too much sugar, feeding the candida, and I did the candida diets and the homeopathics, and I still had it. Why? Because it was hiding in the lymph system. It's hiding in the lymph system. So what do? You have to mobilize the lymph. How do you do that? You dry brush. You can, throughout this detox, if you want to, you can dry brush, get the lymph moving. And
Always up, right?
yes, so when you dry brush, you do it towards your heart. But it's quite important when you're female to do this area, all the lymph around the breasts, that kind of thing. There are people on social media, there's lots of girls on Instagram that will show you how to do it. Yeah. And rebounding, doing this for 10 minutes a day will mobilize the lymph system. And lymph massage, which is a very luxurious, gentle version of massage, will also mobilize the lymph. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.